What if I told you that the more successful you become, the more critics you will have? It's a paradox, isn't it? Success should bring admiration, yet it often attracts criticism. Why is that? Could it be that these critics are drawn to success not because they're eager to learn, but because they feel threatened, inadequate, unable to match up? It's a curious thing to ponder. Now let's delve into a story that perfectly illustrates this phenomenon. Consider the story of a successful entrepreneur who we will call John. Born and raised in a small town, his beginnings were anything but grand. His parents worked tirelessly to provide for their family, and their resilience planted the seed of ambition in John's heart. He knew he wanted more, not just for himself but for his family as well. As a young man, he ventured into the business world with nothing more than a dream and a truckload of determination. His goal was simple: to create something that would change the world for the better. But as he embarked on this journey, he was met with an unexpected adversary: criticism. The higher John climbed, the louder the voices of his critics grew. These were not only strangers, but also those he held dear. Friends questioned his audacity to dream so big. Family members doubted his ability to achieve his ambitions. The skepticism was a bitter pill to swallow. It was an onslaught of negativity that threatened to derail his journey to success. But John was not one to back down. He understood that his critics were not necessarily against him, but rather they were projecting their own fears and limitations onto him. They couldn't comprehend his vision because they couldn't see beyond their own self-imposed boundaries. John faced these criticisms head-on. He used them as fuel to propel him forward, to work harder, to prove them wrong. He did not let their words deter him from his path. Instead, he turned their doubt into his motivation. He knew that their skepticism was a sign that he was on the right track, that he was pushing boundaries and challenging the status quo. The journey was tough, the criticisms harsh, but John stood his ground. He remained steadfast, his vision unwavering. He worked tirelessly, often sacrificing sleep and personal time to build his dream. He faced failures, but each time he fell, he rose back stronger, his resolve hardened by the trials he faced. Eventually, his hard work paid off. His business flourished, his vision turned into reality. He changed the world for the better, just as he dreamed. His critics were silenced, their words of doubt replaced with admiration and respect. But John knew that their approval was not his victory. His victory was in the journey, in the hurdles he'd overcome, in the resilience he'd shown. John's journey was not an easy one. It was filled with obstacles, critics, and naysayers. But he didn't let them stop him. He didn't let their fears become his. He didn't let their words deter him from his path. He believed in himself, in his vision, and that belief was his greatest strength. John's story is a testament to the reality that the road to success is often paved with criticism. But it also serves as a reminder that criticism should not be a roadblock, but rather a stepping stone to greater heights. It's about not letting the haters stop you, about believing in yourself even when others don't. It's about having the courage to chase your dreams, no matter the odds. Critics, as John learned, are often not interested in learning from success. Quite the contrary, they are magnetically drawn towards it, but not for the reasons you might think. Successful individuals, those who dare to dream and then work tirelessly to make those dreams a reality, often find themselves on the receiving end of criticism. So, why this incessant attraction from critics towards success? Here's the bitter truth. Critics are often those who lack the courage to put in the hard work, make sacrifices, and face the challenges that success requires. It's far simpler for them to stand on the sidelines and critique those who do. They find it easier to throw shade at success rather than bask in its light. But here's the thing to remember. The words of critics are often a reflection of their own fears and limitations, not of your abilities or your potential. When they say, "You can't do it," it's often because they are scared that they can't do it themselves. When they tell you, quote, "It's impossible," it's often because they are limited by their own narrow perspective of what's possible. Critics, in their own twisted way, are trying to deal with their own insecurities and shortcomings. They're attempting to project their fears and limitations onto you, to make themselves feel better about their own lack of courage or initiative. But here's the million-dollar question. Should you let these critics determine your path? Should their fears and limitations become your own? Should their inability to chase their dreams stop you from chasing yours? Here's a quote from the great philosopher Aristotle to ponder upon: "There is only one way to avoid criticism: do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing." So should these critics hinder your journey to success? Absolutely not. You are not defined by their words, but by your actions. You are not limited by their fears, but by your courage. You are not confined by their limitations, but by your limitless potential. Never let the opinions of others stop you from living the life you know you are capable of. Critics are a part of life, especially a successful one. But how do you prevent these critics from blocking your light? Critics are like dark clouds. They might obscure the sun, but they can't extinguish its light. It's crucial to remember that the sun is always shining, even when hidden. Your brilliance, your light is just like the sun, constantly glowing, no matter what clouds of criticism roll in. You may be wondering, how do I keep my light shining bright in the face of criticism? Well, the first step is to harness the power of mental resilience. It's about understanding that criticism is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a mirror held up to the critic's own insecurities and limitations. It's not personal, it's just noise. Mental resilience helps you filter out this noise, allowing you to focus on what truly matters: your journey, your goals, your success. Next, we have self-belief, the driving force behind every successful individual. Self-belief is the unshakable conviction in your abilities, your dreams, and in the path you've chosen. It's the internal compass that keeps you moving forward, even when the external world tries to steer you off course. When you believe in yourself, the words of critics lose their power. They become like pebbles against a fortress, unable to cause any real damage. Now let's talk about a clear vision. Imagine you're sailing across an ocean. Without a clear destination in mind, you'll be at the mercy of the winds and waves, easily knocked off course. But with a clear vision of where you're headed, you can navigate through any storm, any wave of criticism, and still reach your destination. Your vision is your destination. It's what you're working towards, what you're striving for. And when you're focused on reaching your destination, the voices of the critics become faint and distant, lost in the winds of your forward momentum. Finally, never forget that the opinions of others are just that, opinions. They are not facts. They are not truths. They are simply viewpoints, tainted by personal experiences, biases, and fears. Your path to success is not determined by these opinions, but by your actions, your determination, and your unwavering belief in yourself. Remember, the only surefire way to avoid criticism is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. But you are not nothing. You are a beacon of light destined to shine brightly, no matter what clouds of criticism may come your way. The critics will come, that's a given, but will you let them stop you? Folks, remember this: the higher the mountain, the stronger the wind at the peak. Your ascent to success will not come without resistance. Those gusts of negativity, those storms of doubt, they're nothing more than signs that you're climbing higher, reaching further, pushing beyond the ordinary. What draws critics to you is not your flaws, but your audacity to dream big, to strive for the extraordinary. They are attracted to your light, the brilliance of your ambition, the glow of your determination. Critics, you see, are often mirrors of their own fears and limitations. Their harsh words, their negative comments, their cynical outlook, all are reflections of their own insecurities, their own inability to chase after their dreams. But here's the thing: it's not your job to dim your light for them. It's not your task to cater to their comfort zones. Your journey, your dream, your success, it's all about you. Their fears, their limitations, they don't define your horizon. They don't set the boundaries for your potential. Criticism, when viewed in the right light, can be a powerful tool. It can sharpen your resolve, reinforce your determination, and make your success even more meaningful. So, embrace it. Let it be the wind beneath your wings, not the storm that drowns you. Stay focused on your path. Stay committed to your goals. Don't let the noise of the critics distract you from the music of your dreams. Don't let their shadows eclipse your light. You're not here to appease them. You're here to surpass yourself, to break your own records, to write your own story. So, rise above the criticism, keep shining your light, and never let the haters stop you from achieving your dreams.
Oh, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications,